Hello everybody, I'm Derek Campbell. I'm a Principal DevOps Advocate at Octopus Deploy. Today I'm going to be talking about config as code using Octopus. Config as code is something that I'm very excited about, something we've been working on for the last two and a half years now. Config as code is something that allows, that gives you the ability to make your updates with Octopus either in the UI or in as code. This is something that's only just been released in March 2022. So let's jump in and I'll give you a quick demo on how config as code works for Octopus Deploy. So if you're familiar with Octopus, what you'll see here is you've got your project, you've got your environments in test and production. Let's jump in and have a look at the deployment process. So as you can see here, what we've got is a pre-configured deployment. So this is a OctoPetShop. OctoPetShop is a sample application that we use. It's a .NET 6 app that contains 3 web apps. So you've got your website, you've got your product service, and your shopping cart service. And then lastly, this is also underpinned by an MS SQL database. So what we've got here is it's a typical deployment process. You're creating infrastructure when you create a new process, so your new release. From this as well, there's some deployments happening. But as you can see here, we're doing some deployments to Azure. And then lastly, we're doing the database. And yeah, so what I'm going to do is, let's talk about why config as code was created. It was created because what you can do is, with Octopus, you can make a lot of the updates in the UI. But obviously, developers, DevOps engineers, they're much more comfortable in code. So what we're going to see is what we have is, as part of the project, as you can see down here, you can now see the version control option. So what we've got here is you've got your Git repository, some authentication using a service account to GitHub. So as you can see here, and it's also stored in the Octopus directory. So let's jump over to GitHub, and we should actually see that this has already been pre-configured. So jump in, we can actually see, so you've got your typical GitHub repository. Let's jump into the .octopus folder. Okay, so actually, let's jump into Code Spaces. So what we've got here is under the .octopus folder, there is a deployment process.ocl file. OCL is, it stands for Octopus Configuration Language. For those who are familiar with HCL, HashiCorp Configuration Language, it may look a lot like that. Unfortunately, we didn't use HCL because it was just, it's not quite right for us. But as you can see here, it's very human readable. So what you've got is you've got step 1, create infrastructure for test. The real benefit of config as code is it allows you to work exactly where you're comfortable. So if you're a developer or a DevOps engineer, you're probably going to be living in VS Code or even GitHub Code Spaces. So you want to come in, you've got, so one thing just to be aware of is we do have a VS Code extension. So you can see here, this is already loaded. So as you can see, this is, there's several steps to it. So you've got, in code, you've got exactly, everything here is actually being read directly from the repository. So in this instance, step 1 is your create infrastructure for test. You'll see here that as we come over to the process, this is the first step here as well. So what I'm going to do now is show you the power of config as code. We're just going to make a really nice, quick and easy update. But one of the benefits is it allows you to treat your deployment process similar to your application code, where you create branches for drafts and then pull requests for approvals. So in this instance, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into this step. I'm just going to rename it. Let's keep it nice and simple for today's demo. So I'm just going to put it to create infrastructure for test. Let's just update the description to dev and test. So at this point, you need to commit it. Previously, it used to be stored in the SQL database, but you've got option here. You can just do a quick commit, or you provide the details. So what we're going to do is we're going to do demo for SSW TV. And then you can see here, you've got a commit to a new branch. I'm going to just call this DevOps Derek. Select commit. There we go. So what you can see, if you come back to create infrastructure for dev and test, you can now see that we are on the branch called DevOps Derek. You come down, if you switch it back to the main, it goes back to test. So what this does is allows you to work exactly where you want to. You know, if you're native in VS Code, then go ahead and use it. It's a great tool. If you're a release manager and you just want to make a quick update, you can also do that in the UI, and both are full featured. So we're the only tool on the market that allows you to work both in configuration as code and in the UI and actually collaborate. So this is one of my new favorite features, because one of the things is if I'm making mass updates to my deployment process, I'm going to use the tools that are native. For instance, VS Code is great at mass updates. So with that, I'm going to use VS Code. If I just want to make a quick and easy update, I'll probably use the UI. It allows you to work where you want to work and puts the power of configuration as code where you want it to be. Okay, so that's it. Please do check it out. It is something that is super cool. And I'll see you next time.